Hello class 11, how are you all? So we are having a discussion over the topic of vectors related with the chapter number 4, and today we are going to talk about the rectangular components of a vector. So you all have now a basic idea that how to represent a vector, that using an arrow you can denote a physical quantity is whether a vector quantity or not. Alright, so we have a discussion that you have idea now. The vector is a quantity that is having some magnitude and some direction. Alright, so if I say the body is moving with velocity of 5 meter per second in east, so this is what I am representing a vector. Similarly, if I say the body have a displacement in the due northeast direction. Okay, what is having a displacement in the due northeast direction? So what is the meaning of this? That this is our east and north. So what is moving along this way is having a displacement. Alright. But in our physics problems, if we talk about some complex problems like a motion problem, acceleration problem, okay, so every time this is not an easier way to define our vectors, okay, so therefore we need something that can really make it easy, or you can say the formatting to denote the vector could be made easier, and that's why we take the help of the rectangular components of a vector. Alright, so before the rectangular components, I want to memorize you that you have studied about the unit vector. So the unit vector is one that is having a magnitude of 1 and it simply represents the direction. So we have only three unit vector I, j and k. Alright, so if I plot them on the graph, this is our I cap, this is our j cap, and this is our k. So these all are virtually perpendicular, and their main application is that they just give us the direction of the value. Alright. So for example, if I say the body having a velocity of 5 I cap. So what is the meaning of that? The body is having a magnitude velocity. The magnitude of the velocity is 5 meter per second with the I cap. With the I cap means it is moving in the positive x direction. Alright. Similarly, if I say this is equal to -5, that means our body is moving in the negative x-axis. Alright, now if I say that yes, our body is having a velocity of 5 in the due northeast direction. So due northeast direction means that is, this is our complete 90 degree. So the line that is passing, supposing this ends at the north and the east, will be directly for making a 45 degree with the base, or you can also say it is making a 45 degree with the vertical. Alright, so in that way, how we can write our components? The V is equal to the component of this A, as the A cos theta I cap plus A sin theta j cap. Okay. So this is what we are trying to write the rectangular component of it. Alright. Now the term A cos theta and A sin theta are familiar to you if you have carefully studied the topic of resolving a vector. Okay. So no problem if you have still a problem, we will try to do with this under this discussion. Alright. So this is what I just tried to write, what the I cap component, that is a component of this vector V on this x-axis, and this is the component of V on the y-axis. So this format, the complete format of writing a vector with the individual component of each direction is known as the rectangular component of a particular vector. Okay. So before having some more discussion, let's again memorize the components of a vector. Alright. So if I draw axis, let's say this is y and this is x, and we are having a vector A. Let's say this is our vector A which is making an angle theta, which is making an angle theta with the x-axis. So in that case, what we will do, you have to remember that whatever the angle is attached to the particular axis. For example, here the A is attached with the theta with respect to the x-axis. So what we can write, the component of A along the x-axis by A cos theta. Okay, so whatever the angle is attached, you will use the cos theta with that particular axis. Now you can see that in the vertical side, the angle is not attached. The angle is not attached with the y-axis. So how we will write it? We will use the component of it along the y given by A sin theta. Okay. Now this A sin theta and A cos theta is known as the method of resolving a vector. Okay, you can say resolving a vector, or you can say projection of a vector. Projection, or you can say resolving. Both are the same terms that we use for this method that we have done here. Alright. So now if you are getting a value of A in the x-axis and in the y-axis, what you can do, you can write the rectangular components of the vectors by using I cap, j cap and k cap. Alright. Similarly, if I just change this values and I say that angle is attached here. Okay. For example, we have a vector that having an angle that is attached with the y-axis. Okay. So as I told you, the angle that is attached to a particular axis, only that component is written with the cos theta, and the other component will be automatically given the sin. So here we have to use the same concept. Okay, so here the theta is attached, so I will write A cos theta, that is the y component, and this is sin theta, that is the x component. But here, with the change of these values, our rectangular component will also be changed. Okay, so what my rectangular component will become? I can write A as A sin theta, I cap, and here A cos theta, j. So now if you compare the values with the last example, the values has been changed. Okay, so it is always depending on that theta, that what angle it attached to the axis, and in that way you will write the rectangular components. Alright. Now if you say that how to remember this, if you forgot the formula, if you forgot this method, how to remember this? Okay, then always remember, if this is the vector and these are the axes, you can make a triangle over it. Okay, we can make a triangle. Now you can see this is what a right angle triangle that you are seeing here. Okay. Now if I want to write the component of A on this y-axis, so you can see this is acting like a base and this is acting like a hypotenuse. Okay. So what I can write, the cos theta is given by what? That is A by A. So A by is A cos theta. Alright. Similarly, you can use the triangle, this one also, to write the values. If this is theta, that will be your theta. Okay, and you can again write the value of the AX using this triangle. So this is the fundamental way to write these components. But in the many when you will do the problems, so this method is what that will take a time. So that's why I am telling you the how to remember it. Just see that what angle is attached to the particular axis. So like you can see, theta is attached to the y-axis. So use A cos theta for the y-axis, and it is not attached on the x-axis. That's why you can write directly A sin theta for the x-axis. Okay, so that is a more faster way to write. Now, in many cases, their vector could be of the 3 dimension. Here we have discussed only 2 dimension, but it can be 3 dimension. Okay. So let's see first that how the application of rectangular component makes our vector calculation easy. Alright. So for example, if earlier I was telling you that let's say the magnitude of A is having a value of A. Okay. Let's say the magnitude of vector A is x and the magnitude of vector B, let's say it is having a 1. Okay, so in that case, if I ask you what is the resultant, so what you want, the first thing that the magnitude and the cos theta to use in the analytical form. Alright, but what happens in rectangular component? If I say the vector A was 3 I cap plus 4j cap plus k cap, and the B is given as I cap plus 2j cap minus 3k. Alright, so we have just assumed example. That A is written in the rectangular component and B is also written in the component of the rectangular form. Okay, now understand once again that whatever is the coefficient of I is representing the value of, or you can say the projection of A on the x-axis. This is the projection of A on the y-axis, that is value 4, and this is the projection of A on the z-axis, that is having 1. And similarly, these are also the projection of B on the x, y, z. Okay, so these things you have to be understood first. Now, if I say give the resultant of A and B, so you know that how to write the resultant of A and B. So simply in vector form, A plus B is not the algebraic, but it is a vector addition, and the vector addition is also known as the resultant of these two vectors. So what I will do here, I will simply take the two vectors with the individual components, and just by adding them, I can calculate the resultant. So just see how easy it is. So 3 plus 1, that is 4 I get. So this is what we have calculated the resultant of our A and B. And if I ask you what is the magnitude, you want to tell the magnitude, then simply you take out the magnitude given by the 4 square plus 6 square plus minus 2 whole square. So this will give you the value of the magnitude of this result. Alright. Now similarly, if I ask you what is A1 to B, then you can again calculate it simply by subtracting the 1 with the 3, 2 with the 4, and minus 3 with the 1. So that is the way simply you can use the rectangular component to do the addition and to do the subtraction. Similarly, you will use it to write the displacement vector when the two position vectors are given in the rectangular form. Alright. Now we will see the other term that is related with the rectangular components, which is known as the direction cosine. So if I take a vector which is 3-dimensional, let's say this is our 3-dimensional vector. Okay, it is appearing as a 2D vector, but actually we have drawn a 3D vector. Okay, that you have to assume. Alright, and let's say it is making an angle alpha with the x-axis, it is making angle beta with the y-axis, and again it is making an angle, let's say this is gamma with the z-axis. Alright, so what is the meaning of direction cosine? I will say the direction cosine is simply a ratio that is given by cos of the angle, that a vector makes with a particular axis. Simply, what is that? Simply that is cos alpha, cos beta, and cos gamma. These three terms are known as the direction cosine, and these are what? These are simply giving you the direction of a vector A with respective axis in the form of angular components. Alright, now let's see what we can write the cos alpha, cos beta, and cos alpha. Okay, so again I will make a triangle over here. So you can see, if I want to write the value of Ax, that what is the value of Ax or projection of A on the x-axis. So you can see this is acting as a base, this is acting as a hypotenuse. So you can simply use cos alpha given by Ax upon vector A, and these are magnitudes. These are simply magnitude that we are using. Similarly, you can write cos beta, which is given by, you can see again a triangle here. So this value, if I want to write A by, so it will be A by upon A, and then if I write cos gamma, so that will be equal to Az upon A. Okay, so this is what we have written. Okay, let me write here again. This is cos gamma is given by Az upon Z. So this is what the values that is given, that is defined as a cos alpha, cos beta and cos gamma. Alright. So these are the direction cosines that you can write to give the direction of a vector in a particular direction. Alright. Now there is a one conclusion that we want to write with these direction cosines. So let's see what it is. So what I am doing, I am adding the cos square alpha, cos square beta plus cos square gamma. Alright, let's see what we are getting. So this is ax square upon a square plus this is ay square upon a square and this is az square upon a square. Alright, so if I take the a square common, so what I am getting in the numerator as ax square plus ay square plus az square upon a square. Alright. So now what it is, if you see carefully what it is, if we have written a rectangular vector and we want to calculate the magnitude, what you are doing? You are taking the component of x square plus component of y square plus component of z square and whole the under root was giving you the magnitude. If you remember, this was our formula, x square plus y square plus z square. That was the magnitude. That was the formula for the magnitude. Alright, so same thing is appearing here. Okay, so what is that? This value is exactly what which is written in the denominator. That is the magnitude of the complete A. So what I mean that a square upon a square, this is equal to 1. Okay, so what is the major conclusion that we got from here? We got cos square alpha plus cos square beta plus cos square gamma is equal to 1, which is a very important conclusion that you got from here. Okay, now see how the question comes from here. If the direction cosine on y-axis, okay, that is cos beta, direction cosine of the y-axis or direction cosine for z, both are 0. If both are given 0, then what will happen? This value and this value will become 0, 0. So what you are hearing here that cos alpha is equal to 1. Okay, and for what value cos alpha gives you 1? That is alpha is equal to 0. Alpha is equal to 0. So what is the meaning of this statement if I say cos beta and cos gamma? That is the gamma. If these two components are 0, then our cos alpha becomes 1. That means this alpha becomes 0, that is parallel to the x-axis. So what you will say, your vector is parallel to the x-axis. Alright. Similarly, if I say cos alpha and cos beta are 0, so in that case you are having a value of cos square gamma equal to 1. Then you can say, what you can do a conclusion that our vector is parallel to the axis z. Alright, so these are the significances of our direction cosine. Now one more conclusion that you can write from here, you know that we can write this the sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Okay, you know sin square alpha plus cos square alpha is equal to 1. So what you can write in cos square alpha? You can write 1 minus sin square alpha. Okay, now similarly I am putting the value for each in every terms in the terms of sine. Okay, now let's see what we are getting. So we will get this will be 1 minus sin square alpha plus 1 minus sin square beta plus 1 minus sin square gamma. That will be equal to 1. So this is 1 plus 2 plus 3 and this is 1. So what will happen? 1 will come this side, it will become 2. Okay, that is 3 minus 1 is equal to 2. And all the sign will come on the right hand side, that will become sin square alpha plus sin square beta plus sin square gamma. So this is again a conclusion in terms of the sine, in the term of sine. So this is when you will write in the form of sine, it will give 2. But if you want to write in the cos, that will come in 1.